Spider-Man 3 is mixed with a lot of people. For me, I really like that movie. Despite of its Rotten Tomatoes score and making good money at the box office, there was no doubt that there was going to be a Spider-Man 4. With ideas thrown in to put in the Vulture, Felicia, and a lot of stuff, Sony and Sam Raimi were getting ready to do this one. But unfortunately, due to creative differences and due to the stuff that Sam Raimi wanted to do for the fourth one, he immediately canceled the project. Well, if you remember what I said in the review, that Sony kept forcing them, and then one of the producers just kept asking him to put Venom into the movie too much, and Sony just kept bugging him so much, which immediately canceled the entire project. Which left me and a lot of fans around the world upset for the fact that we were not going to get a Spider-Man 4 and seeing what was going to happen with Mary Jane, Peter Parker, and seeing what they were going to face in their next chapter in their life. It would have been really great to see, but unfortunately, that never happened, and it never will. I mean, it would have been nice to see what was going to happen, but it's never going to happen. Maybe in an alternate universe, but that's it. But now we got this. The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man is directed by Mark Webb, the director of 500 Days of Summer, The Only Boy in the World, and also Gifted. Definitely one of the movies I highly recommend you watch. I mean, definitely one of my favorite movies of 2017, and my favorite movie of, well, pretty much one of my favorite movies. So, I'll say this. As I was into my teen years, and I really loved the original Spider-Man trilogy. I really loved the first one. I loved the second one. And I also thought the third one was pretty good. So I thought to myself, like, why would they reboot Spider-Man? Because I actually did say I would love to see a fourth continuation for the original Spider-Man trilogy. I would love to see what Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst would have done. I would love to see the next chapter of Peter and Mary Jane Watson's life. I mean, I would love to see them get married. I would love to see the introduction of Vulture, Felicia Hart, and pretty much, love to see what Sam Raimi could have done. But unfortunately, since both him and Sony could not agree, so they immediately canceled the project. So we're left without no Spider-Man 4. So I remember when they were doing when I saw the previews and commercials, I just was not looking forward to seeing this one, mainly because I love the original one so much. So I remember in 2012, on the day after Thanksgiving, I went with some family members. I wanted to go visit some family, and I remember we saw a commercial for The Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, maybe I'll have to watch that one. So they showed me The Amazing Spider-Man, and honestly, I was quite impressed of how good the movie was. I actually quite enjoyed it for its direction, its darker tone, the acting of Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, and it was a really decent, solid reboot. So, how do I think about this movie? Now it's been like 9 years since it came out. How is it as a reboot? Let's talk about it. Now, the positive things I can say about the movie, since this is Mark Webb's second movie that he's directed. I mean, since he directed 500 Days of Summer, he's now directing a blockbuster comic book movie. And he did a pretty good job. I mean, I really like the direction what they went with. It's a much a different tone than the original ones. And also, Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He did a good job. And since he was a British actor, he had to use an American accent because, come on, I think him and Tom Holland just did a good job, doing, and since they were both British, they know how to do a great American accent in order to pull off doing Spider-Man. Since only Tobey Maguire is the only American person who did the version, who had the only American accent to do Peter Parker. And also, the cutest thing about the movie is just seeing both him and Emma Stone together, because their chemistry, both on and off screen, is fantastic. And she is a lovely actress, and she did a good job. And she did a phenomenal job doing Gwen Stacy. And like I said in Spider-Man 3, is that although Bryce Dallas Howard did a good job Spider-Man 3 as Gwen Stacy, I think Emma Stone did a better job, in my opinion. And also the composing score by James Horner, may he rest in peace, did a phenomenal job with this movie. It's emotionally amazing, and everything is so phenomenal. Some of the action scenes are quite impressive, and also, I'll admit the lizard design was actually quite impressive. And especially some of the pacing or some of the stuff they would do, even the third act is actually my favorite thing about the movie. And everything about this movie was just so phenomenal. Even if this reboot is good, it does have its issues though. I'm not gonna lie, there are some things that they could have done a little bit better. Like, for example, the costume. Not a big fan of the costume. I mean, looking at it, I know it's a spandex costume, but it reminds me so much of a basketball. Even a basketball has a better design than that, because the face shell mask and the way that they designed it, I get it. This is their first interpretation of a brand new Spider-Man movie, and they could have done better with the costume. I mean, looking back at the Raimi suit, that one was actually quite impressive. Or in the sequel, where I'll talk about how upgraded and improved the costume is, I'll admit this one, it's not that good. And pretty much some of the character choices I didn't like either. I mean, I'll give it that Uncle Ben here. Wasn't a big fan of it. And for this is my own take, that his version of great power comes with great responsibility was one of the most cringiest moments ever. I mean, the way how he delivered it was awful, in my opinion. Just because the only reason why is because, it's because Peter was helping out with Dr. Curtis Connors doing a project, and Peter was just late to pick up his aunt from a subway station, and his Uncle Ben was just furious at him because, he was late, and he just, said it was just one of the worst performance and worst deliveries of great power comes with great responsibility. And I'm just like, I did not buy it at all. But I think that's my only nitpick I have with The Amazing Spider-Man. It's just that some of the choices they did, it's just not that good. But other than that, The Amazing Spider-Man is actually quite a solid, decent reboot. And I've said this before, and I said it, and I'll say it again. This is a movie that I liked, but many people hated, because I know a lot of people out there don't like the Amazing Spider-Man films. There's people who hate it, who love it, who think it's okay, or some people who just praise it, say it's a masterpiece. I'm putting myself in the category that I liked it. As a reboot from the from the other Spider-Man movies, this one was not that bad. I'm satisfied for how good this one was. And that's pretty much saying much. So comment down, let me know what you think about The Amazing Spider-Man. And as always, have a great day. And now, we're going to talk about the final Mark Webb Spider-Man film, which is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Stay tuned for that one.